Most of us have some aspect of our lives or ourselves that we would like to change. Perhaps you have a clear vision in your mind of how you would like to be different in some way, yet all of the facts and positive self-talk in the world doesn't seem to be enough to turn your vision into reality. The bridge we need between facts, positive self-talk, and our own vision of reality is to utilize the psychology of as if within our day-to-day activities. Alfred Adler, who lived in the 19th century rather, an Austrian psychiatrist and an early pioneer of psychoanalysis, theorized a psychology of as if, a curious and intriguing notion that man lives by mainly purely fictional ideas which have no counterpart in reality. The psychology of as if, or as Adler called it, fictional finalism, stresses the useful nature of this deviation from reality. These fictions, for example, like all people are basically good, hard work will eventually pay off, all men are created equal, honesty is the best policy, and the end justifies the means, enable humankind to deal more effectively with reality. But we know at times these things are not true. But that's the fictions that we live by. For example, if a person believes that there is a heaven for virtuous people and a hell for sinners, this belief will exercise considerable influence on his or her conduct. Adler's therapeutic technique, acting as if, is known today as role play. For example, we behave as if the world would be here tomorrow, as if we were sure what good and bad are all about, and as if everything we see is as we see it. So we role play these things. We know that these things are happening, and that's our role play. Consider this role play. An individual who identifies themselves as shy might be asked to act out the role of a gregarious person for a few weeks, someone who's outgoing, ambitious, that kind of thing. That is, the person lives as if he or she was more outgoing in order to see what happens. Today, the act as if principle is a widely used principle across every area of life. The concept was also popularized by the law of attraction, so it's part of it, that states in order for someone to manifest what they want into their life, they must act as if they are already living their desire. This principle is a process of acting like you already do or have the goals that you desire. Simply put, you must become the person in order to be, do, or have the things that the person already owned. In general, if you want to be successful, you must act, talk, walk, and think like how a successful person will act. If you want to build confidence, for example, pose as if you are a confident person. Keep your head up high, walk straight, that kind of thing. When you strike a conversation with someone, even though you're shy, you can nod to convince people to agree with you. So engage them with you. Acting as if, it's easier said than done. It's easier to say to act as if, but it's hard to do. How do you act as if you're already rich or successful? Should you go ahead and buy a new luxury car? Is that going to make you feel successful? Should you dine in the finest restaurants and stay in the 5-star hotel in your area? Well, we'll look at that. Children at play, children seem to have an ability to see their play as if it were real, an ability to visualize that desirable outcome, which creates an important roadmap for implementing change. The Russian psychologist Vygotsky believed that play played a central role in promoting brain development. He believed that children's abilities could be perfected through play and suggested what we call play is an imaginary, illusory world in which the unrealizable desires can be realized. So again, children are role playing when they play. They're pretending that they're, an adult. While adults often view children's imaginative games and toys as boring or predictable, they help kids shape their worldview. It is by playing mommy or doctor or dragon slayer that they try new things and learn how to grow into adulthood. And when children pretend to be teachers or construction workers or police officers, children are starting to understand the function of different people in society. Think about the following. Children play, they imagine, they play dress up, they are totally immersed in their play. But something happens when people get older. They get put in boxes. You are a teacher and teachers only do certain things. You are a businesswoman, so you can't be also a ballroom dancer. Remember what Picasso said, every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. So the truth is we played many characters in our lives. I am a mother or father, a wife or a husband, a daughter or a son, a businessman, a businesswoman, or a friend. And Shakespeare put it best in As You Like It. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Did you know that you are the master of your own fate? Do you know why? Because you can control what you think, and that whatever you can conceive and believe you can achieve. These are not just words, these are actually truisms. And again, Carl Jung, a famous psychoanalyst, said, I am not what happens to me, I am what I choose to become. It's a choice. So get rid of the word impossible from your vocabulary. Remember, you are what you think. In other words, a weakness found in many individuals is the habit of measuring everything and everyone by their own impressions and beliefs. So cut out the word impossible, just cut that off and say that I am possible. Just change those words around. Even if you don't feel enthusiasm for something to begin with, if you act as if you are enthusiastic and give the thing the benefit of the doubt, your outward actions will influence your inner attitude. It's a fact that acting as if really does work. So if you possibly try to act as if you are enthusiastic or happy, you can muster up those feelings because you've been like that before. You have a reference point. So the question begs an answer. Do you really want to change? Do you want to have more things in your life? Do you want to have a better life, a greater destiny? Attitudes, thoughts, and behaviors are so closely intertwined that the truth about change is that in many ways, you can become different when you start acting as if you are different.